It's been a good solid year since I've swung a leg back over my previous bikes before I got the Specialized fleet, but I thought, you know what, with this national lockdown we've got, I thought there's no better time than to return back to the Bafang Ultra stuff. Stick around. What's crack-a-lacking, guys and girls? Hopefully everyone's doing alright. I know I am. Yes, I've decided to return back onto the Bafang Ultra electric mountain bikes, which I've got. Can you believe it? I have four at my disposal. Now, the one in which you just saw was the second electric mountain bike which I ever built. The first one you haven't seen yet because I'm going to be doing some modifications to it, because I wouldn't mind seeing what the Bafang Ultra feels like on a 29-inch wheel set, since obviously getting Enzo. But having said that though, we're going to dive into the trail build which I've done, which I call the Saviour, and I'll show you exactly just what makes this thing so friggin' fantastic. So first of all, I will apologise for the state of the bike. I mean, you know, I built this bike back in 2019, so of course, all the little blemishes you can see around the chainstay area and some on the down tube and top tube is a testament to how hard I pushed this thing. In fact, I pushed all my Ultras, to be fair, actually, but having said that, I built all four of them. But nonetheless, this is an alloy frame. This is a 20.5-inch frame, so I'm a rider of 6'3", remember, so, you know, I'm quite tall, and I did want a bike which can kind of fit me. This bike has 160mm travel up front and 150 out back. The suspension is made possible by Manitou front and rear. So it's running the Manitou Matok 160mm. Obviously Manitou is the fork with the inverted arch there, and I have put a mudguard at the back. On the rear, I'm using a Manitou McLeod rear shock, which again gives me 150mm of travel. A 170mm dropper seat post. Again, I built this back in 2019, so 200mm dropper seat posts weren't really available back then, but I have gone with a dropper which was appropriate for this frame and my size. 800mm bars courtesy of Spank, and of course you can see the Bafang display there. It's colour display, centre mounted. There are numerous displays you can put on this bike, but I've opted for the generic one because I thought, meh, it'll do. This is a 27.5-inch wheelbase, so of course boost up spacing front and rear, 12x148 in the rear, 15x110 up front. Now, I guess everyone wants to know about the motor. So yes, this is the Bafang M620 or G510, depending on what you want to call it. I simply call it the Bafang Ultra. This is the e-mountain bike motor which everyone talks about, which has 160 newton-meters of torque, peaks out for about, well, at the time, 2019, people were saying that this peaks out at 1500. My boy Andy Kirby tested this thing and he got it to peak out at near 2000 watts. I'll leave a card somewhere up here for you to go check his ultra electric mountain bike build out. This is rocking a kilowatt battery courtesy of the Rienchen Dorado style, so it's 48 volt, 21 amp hour. Tyres on the bike are WTB Trail Bosses front and rear and 2.65 wide. Nothing too fancy, but it gets the job done. And of course, the brakes and drivetrain are courtesy of Shimano. Now these brakes are the Shimano brakes with the motor cutouts. So of course, whenever you squeeze those brake levers, it does cut power to the motor because, spoiler alert, the Ultra motor is capable of exceeding 15.5 miles an hour. It's capable of exceeding 28 miles an hour. So, you know, let's not get it twisted, people. This thing, if you really want it to, it can fly. But like I said, I built this frame up. So I purchased the frame, then I got the motor. I already knew where to get the batteries because I was familiar with the Rienchen Dorado style, so I've got my supplier for that. And then all of the stuff, back in 2019, I basically just took my time, built it up, and Bob's your uncle, I have my trail build. Now, all my builds I have are different They use the same frame, but I've took liberties as to how I've built them. So I've got an all-mounting frame, which was the first one I built. This was the second. I've got a hardtail, and the fourth one was my enduro build. Speaking of modern, you're probably asking about the geometry. Now, at the time in which I built this bike, I didn't really take geometry into consideration. I will have to start measuring things again, because I know that between all my bikes, things have changed. So the chainstay length is different to this compared to my others, because I took liberties as to the rear shock stroke and the eye-to-eye. This type of suspension platform is single pivot. So as you can see here, it's basic, but it works. So there's a lot of pretense as to the shock tune you need in order to get the progressive aspects of a good kinematic for this thing. All in all, actually, I mean, I'll go through other bits and pieces on this bike, but effectively, this thing has stood the testament of time very, very nicely. But you guys probably want to see the bike in action, so why don't we dive into the chest mount footage and I'll show you exactly just how capable this motor really is. Let me show you what this thing can do. So the one thing I should have mentioned before, because I showed you guys the throttle system. Yes, this motor can be actuated through throttle, as I'm just doing now, but this bike is torque sensing, so of course, if you pedal, you can feel the torque. In fact, the way in which I programmed this motor, oh, it's loose around here. I know for a fact that it does respond to torque. But of course, we're approaching a stair challenge, so let me show you how tough this thing is. Thank you. Like I said, I built this thing to be a trail weapon. I did not bunny hop, I did not lift the front wheel, I literally just plowed. Whoa! Oh my god! This thing does feel comfortable. But for anyone out there who's thinking, I don't like pedaling, this is the answer. Okay, you know what? Screw it, sport mode. Let me show you what this thing can really do. Sorry about that, mate. Jeez, man, even in sport mode, the thing just wants to get up and move. Oh, it's been a while since I've come up to Victoria Park on the Ultra. And there are the pit bikes. We ain't gonna be going up against no pit bike today. Again, I need to get reacclimated to this. But back in my more courageous days. Yes, it's good. Whoa!
Oh my day. Flipping heck. Throttle system's a drop of seco story match made in heaven. So in case anyone's wondering about the versatility of the motor, such as whether or not you can go through puddles and such, the answer is yes, you can. You know, it's not waterproof, so don't even think about submerging it in water. But through puddles and torrential rain and such, yes, yes you can. You can. That's the nice thing about having the throttle system. You can literally just get up off your seat, twitch that throttle, and move, and save your feet getting wet. Oh my days, I have built you well, Saviour. I have built you well. I mean, okay, fine, maybe I can put some better tyres on you. But the trail buses have always been a good testing tyre. So I ain't gonna sell them short. Oh my days, and that was just in level 3, people. In eco mode. One more time. One more time. In level 4. Oh my gosh. The feeling is coming back. Forget everything you know about e-mountain biking. This is the next generation of electric mountain biking, people. I know it, and there are a select few out there who will be agreeing with me. Sorry about the lens, just in case. Throttle away! I'm sorry, people. You have no idea. You have no idea.
Alright guys, that's going to be me for now. I'm not going to lie, I have had the best time ever. I mean, the Ultras have literally just been hanging around in storage for over a year. I've become acclimated to my specialised fleet like the Canevo, the Levo, the Enduro, Stumpy, Levo, Hardtail and such. But before I even had those bikes, it was these Bafang Ultra E-mountain bikes which I was swinging a leg over on a constant basis and just shredding the gnar like there was no tomorrow. And believe me, with 160 newton meters of torque on tap, peaking at 1500 watts, you soon discover that there is no hill you cannot climb and there is no speed barrier you cannot overcome. But nonetheless, I'm going to be covering the Bafang Ultras a little bit more in depth, and of course I've got 3 more electric mountain bikes with those motors, all of which use the same batteries, so of course I can make sure that I cover that in more extensive detail. But if you do like this type of stuff, again, don't be a stranger. Hit that like button, comment down below, hit me up on Emtb forums in case you've got any thoughts and suggestions I can cover in further videos. And of course, until the next time, stay feeling.